if we're in this movement of equality, why are we asking for handouts?
LeBron James' birthday. And he just went for like some wild triple-double. Like, he's 38. So, TV companies aren't jumping on that when there's no audience. Thus, you can't have the money.
We're talking about equality. You got to think about how to bring in more money. I'll leave it at that.
That's interesting to think about. And he's averaging 31 points a game.
Is he going to be the Tom Brady of the NBA?
He is, but he's also
45, 50 years old.
I'm up to it.
Yeah.
I'm up to it.
Are we
going
there?
I'm up to it.
That's the show, Dada!
Yo.
We do, baby.
Yo.
What up? What's good? How we feeling today? How about I say, are we good? Or is everybody straight? We live.
All the way live. Yeah.
Dude.
Don't know how to act.
Yeah, right. My man got the lights, camera, action over here, man. Microphone, all that good stuff.
It's fire.
Little something.
Big shout out to the big bro.
Something set up.
We in the streets.
I love it, man. I love it. Big shout out to the big bro, man. Green out here looking out. Big shout out to you, brother. And happy New Year and happy Friday. First Friday in January. First Friday in 2023. Baby. To it. Welcome to the show. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Assuming we can still call you that. Welcome. One more time. Just like we never left last year, to Up to It, Down to It, the most organic conversation on the internet. We here to bless your Friday nights. We are here, your Friday night delights. We're going to have some fun, man. Going to have a good time. A lot of good topics. 2023 is already off to its best bullshit. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So with that being said, man, no further ado, I am Trey, the Great and Terrible. Y'all know what time it is. We're going to talk about some good stuff, and we got some hot topics. I think the comments going to jump today. So that said, I'm off, man. I ain't saying nothing else.
You might be famous again.
We might be famous again. Or we might get canceled. One or the other.
Maybe both. We're shooting for both. Yeah.
Shoot for both.
Yeah.
Shoot for stars.
There we go. You shoot for cancellation and miss with superstardom.
There it is.
There you go, man. To my right on the screen, to my left, in real life, as always, my guy, the immovable force. Kev, talk to us, brother. What's good?
What's good, everybody? Happy New Year once again. Feel like I haven't seen you all in a year, but yes, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So feeling real simple tonight. So we're gonna go with the American honey. But if you saw me, I was cup up as soon as the show started. So I mixed the American honey with the Simply strawberry lemonade and quarter sail on it. So I got a couple of them sitting in the fridge. Finished that off with a little Sprite. So it's just a fantastic mix. And that honey has just enough sweetness to make this drink do exactly what I wanted to. But we got a couple of different things going on because I mix my lights and my darks. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So the El Padrino Cristalino is what we'll be taking shots of. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, again, Cristalino is the route you want to go. It's just a step above Añejo in terms of your tequilas. So this one is absolutely fantastic, and El Padrino is just a good brand. Put the Patron down. All right, let Jose go. We're not an undergrad no more. All right, so we're putting all those things to the side and doing adult things. But y'all, no matter what you're doing, even if it's a bottle of water, because we got those too, Lord knows we got to wake up tomorrow and feel okay. Get your drink on, have something good in your glass, and let's have ourselves a good time.
There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Always a pleasure, man. Good information. Always with the drink game. Fire. Fire, fire. Caliente. We switched to the computer. Are we good to go?
Did he do that? I felt like he did that already. No?
I feel like he did it.
He ain't gone nowhere.
Here we go. No, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh,
Here we go. Here we go.
Real
There
live.
we go.
Hey, we live. Y'all got me?
Gang,
Check
gang.
one,
We
check
got
two.
you.
My mic
check
sounds
check
nice.
one,
Mic
check
sound
two.
nice.
Might sound nice. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, I'm next up, ain't I? It's me. King
You got
Rich in the
Yeah,
building.
yeah. Right on
Hey.
time, my brother.
Listen, welcome to 2023, everybody. I hope everybody is fine like wine, per usual. To listen, we going, so the last time I was like, even though you don't be feeling inspirational, sometimes you be thinking and something happens and you can find inspiration out of the thing that just happened, man. Well, for me today, I'm gonna just give y'all what's been on my mind today, and it's like, man, a lot's been happening already, and it's like, yo, just keep going. I might have said that before, keep going, but that was heavy on me today. It was like, keep going. Today was a slow day, but still, things like to pop up. But I'm gonna encourage everybody to keep going, no matter what. Keep going. It's 2023. Shoot your shot, Jordan year. Take all opportunities, keep that fire going all year long, man. So let's get into it, man. We got a lot of topics to hit and not a whole lot of time, but also I want y'all to peep game right
Check
there.
him out. Check him out.
I had to go back to Old Faithful right there. That's what's
Yeah.
on the map tonight.
We're
Plans.
not mad at it, but Ensign, y'all still need to call me.
Also,
inside is where it's at.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely call them like
Inside
now,
beach.
like now. But also, hey man, is it just me or is there a ginger ale shortage? Canada, I cannot find Canada Dry like anywhere. It's blowing my mind. So, unfortunately for them, my cousin is gonna love this. I had to go to
Seagram's.
Seagram's.
and there it is.
All right.
And there it is.
Whatever it is to cure your cold.
There it is.
Drank some ginger ale and sat down.
Because ginger ale has magic powers. Let's call it what it is, Joe. Let's call it what it is. Cures
Ginger
everything.
ale,
Probably, everything. Any disease you can think of.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. That's what's up, man. I like that setup with the lights going like that, man. That's good stuff.
Hey man, big bro hooked it up. He said, "Yo, come on over." I said, "On the way. Let's get into it. Let's do it."
Real
Yeah.
sexy.
So man, hey, the whole setup is nice too. We need to do a live over here for real.
We will soon.
Yeah, make it
ASAP.
happen.
We putting it on the calendar. That's what's up, man. Well, listen, that being said, let's get into it. There's a lot to get into. We're going to be all over the place. So let's go ahead and get this first shot in. This one is for y'all. So thank y'all, as always, for joining us. So we go up to it, down to it, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, this is for you. Hey! Hey, look, and we kind of on the same page too. We just finished the Tennessee honey, the Jack honey. We on the Crown Apple, Old Faithful as well.
Hey.
Oh yeah, green, because the label's green.
I had to pick that one up too.
Yeah, big facts. I love that, man. Just always a good one, a smooth one.
Yes, sir.
Hey, let's get into some cool stuff first. All right. So, Kev, this is for you, man. You're our resident basketball guy, man.
Indeed.
Okay.
The NBA has been crazy this season, right? Just a couple of things to take note of. LeBron, we talked about this last week because y'all saw in the intro. He's already just
What about
killing
Trey?
these youngins out here. Oh, okay. All right. I think we are
All right.
we back? Are we back?
This is real live. This is real live.
We live.
We live.
We live. I looked up. I said, "Holy crap! What just happened? Are we good? Am I choppy or are we good?
You're good now.
We good. We good right now.
We
We're
heard
good now.
LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to Bron, 38 years old and still top 10 in scoring right now. Luka Doncic with a 60-point triple-double, 60-20 triple-double. Ridiculous. Ja Morant is jumping over people, jumping out the window with this one. And, you know, he's like 5'4". No, I'm kidding. But he's jumping over everybody. And then Donovan Mitchell puts up 71.
It's wild.
71 points, dog. What the crap are we talking about? 71?
And the craziest part is he did it as a Cleveland Cavalier, and you would think that LeBron would be the leading point scorer for them all time, but he definitely took that spot. Eradicated it.
Well, certainly for one game, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, Cleveland really is they're balling out of control. I love what they've done to reconstruct this team. And shout out to Kevin Love, who stuck around after of course LeBron departed for Los Angeles and Kyrie departed for flat Earth. But yeah, the first NBA returns have come back. So LeBron James and Kevin Durant are leading the All-Star voting for their respective conferences, which I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised about the LeBron one because, of course, the Lakers aren't doing well. So in the way that Luka's been playing, you would think he would be up there. But nope, LeBron and KD, and they've picked against each other for all-star teams, I want to say, for the last 3 seasons. So it looks like it's going to turn out that way again. But there are a ton of deserving all-stars, and I think the hardest part is going to be figuring out who starts in the front court for the East because you have Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who are all balling out of control, but there are only 3 spots for the 4 of them. And I feel like Jason Tatum's going to get left out, even though the Boston Celtics are the best team in the East right now. So
hands down. Yeah. I agree, man. I think this is one of the more exciting seasons I've seen in quite some time. LB, what's your thought, man? We've been able to take 2. Been drinking.
I got you already, but no, I haven't been able to catch any of them, man. I have been seeing the highlights, so I haven't catch the games or whatever, but I've been seeing some of the highlights, and yeah, man, Jay is balling. I've seen well, of course, Draymond's gonna be, Draymond. I've seen a bunch of different other clips. Actually, some cats that because I don't follow basketball as closely as Kevin, but I've seen some new cats that I haven't seen before, and they've been piquing my interest to pay more attention to basketball. So I'm glad to see some new faces that are turning it up, making headlines and whatnot, making it do what it do. So yeah, man. It's the game looks like it's interesting. It's almost, so I'm not comparing it to wrestling, but I remember, and you remember being heavy in wrestling. Kev was probably heavy in wrestling, and then for a time period it slows down, and then somebody new comes in and makes you interested in watching it again.
Yeah,
and that's what I feel like is happening. You got some new cats that are coming in, makes some things happen, and I love to see it.
Yeah,
get the fresh blood in there.
Yeah, I love it, man. I was looking at the so that we don't disappear and get choppy again, I won't share it, but I'll read off our top 10. The top 10 through December as far as points per game. We had Luka with 34, Joel Embiid 33, Giannis with 32. Was it Shai
Shea
Gilgeous Alexander. Shea, my bad. Shea, yes. Shea Alexander. Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
balling.
Balling out of control. He's killing the game right now.
They're gonna have one or two things is gonna have and funny enough, the second pick in the draft is out for the season. So I want to see what he looks like when he comes back. But Oklahoma City's got to figure something out real fast before they lose that talent because he's too to be, stuck on a team that's underperforming. So
how they end up getting such great talent in Oklahoma City twice? How does lightning strike twice?
Well, I will say Oklahoma City has a propensity to cultivate talent, so they can do that well. It's just a matter of keeping it together, and the timing of it. Like I said, if their second pick hadn't got hurt, I think they'd done some things. Even though Chet Holmgren kind of reminds me of Kristaps Porzingis, he's 7 feet, real agile, can play, inside out. He's just frail, like real frail. And, that's part of one of the things Les was injured. Yeah. So like Anthony Davis, he's going to have to take some time and put some muscle on. But that's going to take, 2 or 3 years for him to get right. But Oklahoma City can do well in the next few years if they, keep it together.
Man, Anthony Davis, I saw a play. He got hurt. Literally, he was in midair, like nothing happened. It was a no contact injury and like sprained his ankle. He caught his man.
I saw that. But if you look close, I don't think it was a no contact. It looked like his foot hit off. If it's the same one, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it looked like his foot did like hit off of. I don't remember the guy's name, but it looked like his foot did like awkwardly, smack his leg or something. But still. I mean,
he gets hurt like every season, man, and he's out like for a significant amount of time. What's that you got, Kev? What's that, bro?
Cali Gold.
That's Snoop.
For the pain. So, who knows what it'll turn into. We just got a table full of stuff. This when I talked about this, the Mavasi Di Corso, sweet red, and this one, I mean, literally, you find a bottle for $9.99, $10.99. So who knows what's going to happen on this table? But I told you, for a good time, not a long time. So,
it's all happening on that table. It's all going down on that table.
We're gonna have to do a whole show on, what's on the table and in his bar. Like,
I was gonna say, because this ain't even in on the bar. So, yeah, don't have me out here looking like an alcoholic.
Hey, no. Alcoholics go to meetings. There you go.
I don't drink. I take my sips at red lights.
Basically, yeah. Nobody drinks and drives. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? That's not
silly.
Smart.
That's smart.
And then I do my thing.
Yeah. Right, come on, man. Be responsible with your drunk ass. All right.
I'm not fooling with you.
That's it, man. All right, cool, man. But yeah, NBA is good, man. Keep an eye out. All-Star Weekend is in 3 weeks? Like a month, about a month.
I feel like it always falls on Valentine's Day weekend. So, fellas, figure your plan out. All right. Because she will call her side dude. First topic. I know. Don't.
Hey, no, man. Listen, side dude day is the 15th. Side chick day, side dude day is the 15th. Okay, we all know that. We all know that, man. You gotta respect the main one. Okay, you're gonna be a side piece. You gotta respect the main. Okay. 1B, 1A, motherfucker. Okay. All right. Enough of the NBA. Y'all want to do some fair or foul?
It's gotta be.
Why not?
Let's do it. I got my shot ready already. Let's get down with some fair or foul. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Hey, that joint always gets me going.
Lord, that's smooth. Oh,
by the way, since I totally screwed this up last week, the song that was in my head was "Pass That Dutch."
Okay,
that's the song. The beat, it was the "Pass That Dutch" beat. That's what got me. That was what was in my head. Okay, neither here nor there. let's go with this one, right? So Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, and most importantly, Damar Hamlin. So, all right, so let's try to set this up real quick, okay? Uh, on Monday night, there was a freak accident. Damar Hamlin, who, if you haven't seen the video, looked like a routine tackle. Got apparently hit in the right spot at the right time in his chest. When it basically had a heart attack, went to cardiac arrest. Um, you know, he had to be revived on the field. It was a tense moment. It was a scary moment, actually. I got to watch some of that as well, and it was all the energy in the stadium left, right. It was just gone, right, and for good reason. Man's life was at stake here. He was literally on the field fighting for his life. Okay. Um, yeah, in the midst of this, Skip Bayless, and I want to be fair. So Skip Bayless was tweeting a few things. He tweeted about the seriousness of the injury. He tweeted about how kind of sudden it was and how this is different from the types of injuries that we normally see on a football field. But then he said, essentially, no doubt the NFL is going to cancel this game. But, how could they? It's at the end of the season. There's so much at stake here. Then again, all those things seem irrelevant right now. And I'm paraphrasing.
But you got the critical parts.
Go for it.
So and like I'm gonna say Skip is fair, and I want to like preface this by saying I don't like Skip Bayless. Like I think Skip Bayless is like the hater of all haters. Like he's literally hated on LeBron James for
His entire career, basically.
19 and 7/8 years, and just recently gave him credit for being a great player. But like he did nothing wrong. He said nothing wrong, and everything that happened with his tweets is exactly what's wrong with the vast majority of like things that take place on social media. People take a piece of it and they run with it. In the same tweet that he showed, like that he asked questions about the NFL season, he also said like this is irrelevant. So like how you try to like take one piece of it and not the other is mind-blowing to me. A sports analyst, sports commentator, whatever you want to call them, their job is to ask those kinds of questions. And I saw the hit and I sat like uncomfortably and watched probably the next 30-45 minutes of television. So I saw like, they kept going back to the analysts in the studios on the different stations, and they were all kind of in the same place. Like they're looking for questions to ask, but what do you ask in a moment where a man has technically died on the field and has to be brought back to life? So like everybody's asking the same question. So why Skip Bayless got like, I guess, pulled out of all the people is a little wild to me. He said nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. And again, you have to go through the totality of his tweets. It's kind of the same thing. We see a headline on the Shade Room on Spiritual World, and we run with it. If you read the story, there's context and there's better understanding, but people just want the headline and go with that. And so it's fair on Skip Bayless's behalf. It's foul for us because we're not digging deeper to figure out like what the real truth is.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, I didn't, and so opposite of Kevin, right? I didn't actually see it. I didn't see the game. I still haven't seen the hit. So I've just been seeing a lot of social media buzz, saying that it on the side of, hey, don't say unless you have something to say positive about, Damar, right? Don't say anything at all. Forget, football right now. It's all about him. I was wondering where all the hostility was coming from. I didn't know who said what, and then the whole thing about Skip comes out, and at first, I was like, okay, I don't think it's unlike him to say something wild. But once I, dug a little deeper, and I was like, okay, I see what he was saying. So I think people they jump to conclusions or they're quick to jump on that what do I call it? It's that mob mentality where they only get a small chunk of it, and they just want to they want to hang them for lack of a better term. But this mob mentality, let's burn them at the stake. Let's instead of dignifying the truth, they're jumping on the bandwagon to discredit, to cancel, that whole cancel culture and all of that.
Ridiculous.
So and that is ridiculous. So and then it's like, so are you so let's do the flip side. Even if he had said something, is he not entitled to his own opinion if that's the way he felt about it? So I still don't like the guy. I mean, I don't know him, so I don't like what his portrayal of his character on the show. But I don't know him personally, so but is he not entitled to his opinion, period? And let's get all the facts, people. Let's dig a little deeper. Let's stop jumping on this whole bandwagon mob mentality. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I completely agree with y'all. I didn't see anything wrong with what he said. They're in a situation like that, there are going to be more questions than answers, right? In a football game, which, let's be honest, is a gladiator sport. When was the last time an NFL game was canceled or postponed? Right? You actually have to go back to 1987, and the only reason that happened was because of a player strike. Okay, which means you probably have to go back to before many of us were born, probably back to before the National Football League was a National Football League, to find a time where this gladiator sport stopped playing because of insert anything here.
They ain't even stopped playing because of 9/11. They just flew flags.
That's what I'm saying. Like the show must go on. Next man up. If you ever played football, if you ever followed the game of football, it's a next man up mentality, period.
It's a business.
Right? So the question that Skip Bayless asked was a fair question. What do we do about this game? They were in the third quarter, I believe.
First.
I think. Oh, was it first quarter?
It was 7-3 in the first quarter.
First quarter. Okay.
It was first quarter.
So first quarter of the game, both teams are fighting for playoff positioning. This is what would normally be the last week of the season if it was any other year, right? But now we got one extra game. So, okay. But again, playoff seeding is on the line. It is possible, not likely, but it's possible the Bengals could get the number 1 seed, right? It's probable, in my opinion, that Buffalo will get the number 1 seed. But this game would have determined that. And the Bengals, look, these ain't your daddy's Bengals. Well, let me rephrase that. These ain't our kids' daddy's Bengals, because our kids' daddy's Bengals were garbage. Okay. Our kids' daddy's Bengals were trash. Yeah, these ain't our
most
Bengals.
of my life.
These ain't even the start of the season Bengals, because they started off rough, but they balling. Shout out to LSU.
Yeah. LSU is taking over Cincinnati, and they are making it work. They're making it work, trying to make a 2-year in a row Super Bowl run, and they have the team to do it. Yeah. They have the team to do it. So anyway, the point is there's reasonable questioning as to what do we do now? Like what happens now? Okay, so we know this is bad. We know we have to take care of that. But seriously, but then the business of the game, these 65 or so thousand people that paid to see a football game that, yes, I know the game isn't that important anymore, but 65,000 people paid to see that game.
That's actually the only part of this that I wonder about, is how like those people will be compensated because they didn't get what they paid for.
But didn't they also cancel Thursday's game?
Yeah, nothing happened.
Are they rescheduling that, or because I haven't heard anything about a reschedule for that one either.
That's the only part that I'm wondering about. People who paid, season ticket holders, Like
Yeah.
that part, I just wonder how they'll be compensated. But everything else is what it is.
And that's kind of just on the low end, man. I mean, there's a business part of it. I just want to mention this part. I know a lot of people were also talking about how the NFL, they claim the NFL was wrong for, asking the players in a sense if they wanted to go back on the field and play, or trying to get the players to go back on the field and play.
Ain't
And
they said y'all got 5 minutes to warm up.
yeah, I mean, but it's again, this is football. It's football.
But they watched it. I'm not. It's not an exaggeration. They watched a man die.
Literally, you're right. You're
So
right.
after that, they're even for that day, because again, even as a school teacher, if somebody dies, school's probably gonna be canceled that day and the next, and then we'll go back to business as usual. But the same day, when you watch somebody die, like there is nothing to do after that. Like,
well, so they watched what potentially was that. I mean, he obviously didn't die; he's back. But they did say that his heart stopped on the field. So I to be fair, but again, but when does this happen in football?
it doesn't. So that's the reason why you stop, because that doesn't happen. We've seen, regardless of sport, because Paul George's leg injury was one of the nastiest I've ever seen in my life. We've seen the nastiest of injuries. I have never seen a man
basically die on the field.
Die on the field. On the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, and wildly enough, it was a Morgan Hampton game. I want to say Morgan and Hampton, and there was a cheerleader tumbling before the game started, and she landed on her neck, and the whole game, like the game got pushed back about an hour or so just to deal with that cheerleader who got injured. So if there's, if we can rationalize how freakish that is to an audience, a man having to receive CPR in front of a stadium full of people is enough to be like, nah, this ain't the day.
Sure. And I think ultimately the NFL did the right thing by, ultimately canceling the game. I don't even think they rescheduled it. I think they just canceled it. It's called basically books made. So Justin, to your question, I think they just canceled it. And
they're just gonna run percentages.
Yeah, win percentage. Yeah. And and I think they said like some things, if Cincinnati ended up with a tiebreaker or something like that, they would decide it with a coin toss. So there's a lot of, the thing is, there's, again, back to Skip Bayless' point, there's a lot of question marks here as to what do we do now, right? And so if you go back and if you look and research, I won't for the sake of time, but if you go back and look at what the if-then scenarios are for this particular thing, there's a lot of if-thens. There's a lot of things to think about, and there's a lot of things for the NFL to decide to do, fairly, right? For the competition committee to come up with all that stuff. So, it's a jacked up situation, but I agree with y'all. I think what Skip Bayless said was fair. I mean, he just asked the questions that other people are going to ask, right? One could argue that maybe it was insensitive timing. It was bad timing, maybe. But again, back to your point, LB, is he not entitled to his opinion? That's his opinion. That's his question. That's the thing that he questioned about this. Like, how do you, because this one incident does potentially affect a lot of things. You don't just, for example, let's say they decided to reschedule the game. They have to make sure that people aren't booked. They got to, again, get back to your tickets question. The people that paid for tickets, now do they get books made? They just automatically get into this game. How do you work that out? So there's a lot of different moving parts. And I think Skip asked a decent question. I think it's a fair question.
And Pat Rice said pools get shut down if lifeguards have to do CPR. And I get it never happens in the NFL, never happens. But I feel like this should be a always conversation. If then what?
I mean, if someone basically dies on the field, I think it's fair to say, all right, let's stop.
I guarantee you in the next bargaining.
So did the game? So did the game end in a tie, or it just doesn't count, or like?
Nah, it's just not
gonna be
counting. They're
it's
just
not
gonna
gonna
cancel
count.
it. Yeah.
It's not gonna count. Never happened.
So those two teams are just, have a 16-game season and everybody else 17. And if there are numbers to support different seeding, then they'll do their,
Calculations.
whatever that shit's about, and
And I mean,
coin flips and all that.
it's kind of how the the NBA arrived to the season that they had to do in the bubble. Like, they brought in 9 and 10 seeds because they were close enough to like fight for 7 and 8. And that's, kind of what got us here. Like a freak thing shut the world down and they had to adjust on the fly.
Yeah.
So, everybody's got to have some contingency plans in place.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think we're all in agreement.
All right, cool. Yep. I agree. We are all in agreement. That's fair. Let's do it. Whoop, whoop. All right, cool. Bet that. The next topic, next shot. Because boy, you're gonna need a shot for this one. Top 10. Rolling Stone ranks the top 10 greatest singers of all time. Greatest sing. Hey, by the way, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all drinking on. Let me know what y'all drinking on. We got everything going on. We got the lights going. We got the darks going. We got Crown. We got honey. We got it all going on. So y'all let us know what y'all drinking in the comments.
Ain't no colorism over here.
Not at all. Not at all. We equal opportunity. Equal
That's
opportunity.
Right. I like them light. I like them dark.
Rich. If it ain't my
we like them green too.
It definitely like some green.
All right, let's talk about this. Dun dun dun.
This is already stressing me out.
At number 10, Al Green. We're gonna go through the whole list, and y'all could, we could just talk about snubs or whatever. At number 10, Al Green. Otis Redding. At number 9, Beyonce. True. Coming in at number 8, Stevie Wonder. Number 7, Ray Charles at 6.
2 blind men. In a
Mariah Carey at 5. Must be because we're still in the Christmas season when they did this. Billie Holiday. What'd you say?
I think they forgot about the Christmas season, but go ahead. Oh, this is
Billie Holiday at 4.
Billie Holiday. I
already see some people missing. Sam Cooke at 3. I'm okay with this. Okay, Sam Cooke at 3. Excuse me. What? Whitney Houston at 2. Aretha Franklin number 1. Okay.
You know what I'm glad about? Right? I didn't see Elvis Presley not in that bad boy, and I'm glad about it.
And so we can start with the fair part, which is that all of these people,
everybody black.
Like let's stop playing. All of the soul, all of the flavor, all of the everything is us, been us. Like,
oh man.
And
I'll drink to that. I'll drink to that.
We don't have no slide for this. We just take the shots.
We just gonna take the shot, man. They know, we got
nothing. I'm trying to. Oh, Christ have mercy. Oh. So if you ever seen Drink Champs, this one of them ones be like, if you got an answer for it, then you answer it, and if you don't, then you take a shot. I'd probably be taking a shot.
I'd be taking shots. Yeah.
So if I got to take this list, there are the only thing that's foul to me. I actually have Stevie Wonder ahead of Ray Charles, and I have Mariah Carey higher on the list. Those are the two foulest things to me, like that.
Okay.
Because again, Mariah's early career. First, Mariah has whistle tones, like that's there's Mariah, like and people gonna think I'm wild. There's Mariah Carey and Ariana Grande. Like what Ariana Grande does. When I first heard her, I was like, oh snap, Mariah Carey has a new jam, and like my kids had to tell me, no, that's Ariana Grande that you listen to, and I was like, oh, that's insane. So like, I think Mariah should be higher on the list. Now, granted, at this point in her career and life, she's like hit or miss depending on when you catch her. But like the totality of her career, if you're gonna have her on this list, she probably should be a little higher. Whitney Houston is actually, again, of this list, number one to me, just because like there was literally no part of like everything in her register is super clean. And then I looked at some of the comments and people were like, well, why do you not have Michael Jackson on this list? Michael Jackson has an ear. Michael Jackson is an artist and performer, but we're talking about singers, like singers. So like
I was gonna say that's the separation right there, is the singing part.
So yeah, like in that regard, I'm not mad at him not being on this list. What I will say, if I absolutely like want to, Jasmine Sullivan should find her way on this list somewhere. Like, stop playing. Like, if you heard her do the national anthem for the Phillies during the playoffs, she murdered. Like, comparable to what Whitney Houston did when she sang the national anthem for the Super Bowl. Like, Jasmine Sullivan is there. Jasmine Sullivan is a 10-year-old playing Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. Had you staring at your computer screen like this is coming out of an adult who's lying and identifies like
identifies as an adult.
Identifies as a 10-year-old.
Identifies as a 10-year-old, yeah.
Like Ben, she is your singer's singer. And in that vein, like I heard her do a cover of The Prototype by Outkast, murdered. Like there's literally nothing that she can't do. So like, yeah. I don't know what to make of this list. It's fair, it's foul, it's stressful. I drink because of it. Like I never should have saw it. I don't know. Y'all,
he's stressed out already. You see the sweat beads building up over here on his forehead.
Oh man,
his sleep up is sweating right now.
So wait. If you want to add Jasmine to the list, then who you kicking out?
That's the question. That's always the question. Who do you take off the list?
I don't even know. I would have to build it and see what happens. And
it's Billy's stand, Billie Holiday. She's what about Otis?
What about Beyonce? What about Beyonce?
People don't think Beyonce belongs, but Beyonce is your performer, and that's probably what people are holding on to. She's a performer.
She can sing though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, get into her documentary, get into her live. Yeah. Beyonce sings, like particularly early on when she was doing full choreography. Beyonce would like tumble to the floor and never miss a note. Like while pregnant, she gave you every key change up on top. Like when her in Destiny's Child, they would do harmonies in the limousine, get to the arena and be like, these same harmonies that sounded right in the limo don't work for this arena. They had an ear for it, and they like. So I'm not mad at her on the list. Like she been that. The one performance that she jacked up was that BET Amazing Grace, when it wasn't even supposed to be her. It was supposed to be like Lettucey or something like that, but they just wanted the star power and gave it to her. Like that's the only performance I've heard her have that's bad. She sings live. She does everything. When they questioned her about the national anthem, she stepped on the podium, sang it live, and it was like, do y'all have any questions? And then walked away. Like, so she belongs, but definitely not higher than 8. Because again,
put the nice little studios set up.
Let me get to this question. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say the question that I have for all of this, because I see in the comments we're agreeing with some people here. Well, I'm in agreement. Marvin.
Steve.
Okay, we got Marvin Luther.
I'm glad
Stevie belongs. Stevie's on the list already, right? So you got Marvin and Luther. Ella Fitzgerald. That's a good question right there. The problem with all of these lists is always this: if you add them, who do you get rid of? Because the problem with the top 10 is they ain't room for but 10 people, right? So if we add Luther, who I think Luther Vandross, I think he should be on the list. If you add Luther, you add Ella, who do you get rid of?
Which is always the $100 million question. It's like that All-Star game where the commissioner added Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki. Like you just gotta, you just gotta have, people. And
So let me ask this though about Luther. And yes, I'm gonna go here on Luther, right? Because so if he's being added to the list though, like, so all right, so I only know Luther for him being in his lane. Because we talked about range and all of that, and I only know Luther for being in this lane. That's just me.
That's
Maybe
fair.
I haven't dived deeper into Luther. Maybe somebody can educate me. But
now you fair.
I don't know. So for that reason alone, I don't know if I personally could add him. Kudos to him. Hey, listen, I'm married now. Love, babe, I love you. I'm not gonna go there. Listen. All right. I love Luther. I don't know if I can add him to the list. I don't know.
I would probably Brian McKnight before Luther. That's
okay, but the question still remains though. If we add Brian McKnight, which I wouldn't disagree with, if you added Brian McKnight, who gets bumped? Who becomes number 11 now?
I think everything is 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 20 people
at this point, right?
Because we got
too much talent to call.
Yeah,
too much talent to call.
It's insane, and you just then like makes you like your underground people who don't have the fame and popularity, who are like vocalists. Lord have mercy, and I'm having a brain fart right now, but the main character of Sing, guitar player, singer. She came from YouTube, but now she's like everything. Like she plays the elephant on Sing, and
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. That's but I feel like
I got you.
Yeah, it is gonna bother me until it comes to me. But like to me, she is a
Tori Kelly.
Yes,
Tori Kelly. That's it. Tori Kelly.
You're welcome.
Tori Kelly is unhinged as a vocalist, like unhinged. There's literally nothing she can't sing. I mean, and hell, if you listen,
her Don't You Worry About a Thing, I love it.
What? Oh man,
I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
Like Hallelujah, and I hate that song, but what she did with Hallelujah was out of this world. Like, and I think about even Kelly Clarkson. If you watch Kelly Clarkson's show, Kelly Clarkson does those live performances. She be covering everything, music. Kelly Clarkson will sing with your best singers. You know what I'm saying? So there are people who you're like, yo, like. I just wish I could get a little bit more of them to this is such a stressful question. It's foul to have
it's foul because we're so stressed over it. Are we in agreement on that?
We're in agreement. Now? Come on, man.
Yeah, man. Wow. Screw Rolling Stone for this bitch ass list.
Next.
Got us out here mad.
Oh,
ridiculous. Man. All right. We off that. Next fair or foul, and then we're gonna move to our headline. Next fair or foul. This is we actually previewed this a little bit last week, so I'm gonna go straight to the video. Y'all gonna want to take a shot on this one. Tell Green to get off the phone, LB. Tell Green to get off the phone.
Get off the phone, Green.
Nigga, mad loud in the background.
We live.
Mad loud in the background.
You gotta find the bed talk dirty.
Hey, dang, boy.
He on the phone with our other LB. I'm gonna call him out.
Oh, Steve? You on the phone with Steve, ain't he?
All of y'all get y'all stuff together.
Listen, we ain't got time for this. All right. What is a high-valued woman, and how does that work? Let's
Here
take
we
a look
go.
real quick.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a shot. Let's go.
Any high value woman would be okay with that.
What's a high value woman?
A woman who knows her worth, and
Well, what determines a woman's worth?
I think a woman determines her own value.
See, that's the difference between men and women. Like, a man can't just determine their value. The world dictates how valuable you
The
are.
marketplace, you're saying.
Right. Like,
Capitalism.
women could just make up how valuable she is in her head and then just assume that the world should follow that. But we can't operate like that. Imagine if I said like that, I'm just worth that. Like, why? Because I believe it. Everybody would think that I'm delusional, but women can believe that.
Ew. Yeah,
Let's
this.
dig into it.
No, this
Don't shoot the messenger.
It's clear. It's clear. It's clear.
Oh man, he went dark and light. Oh, party foul. Hold up.
Nah, that's just a good time.
Justin, I'm trying to figure it out. I know what you asked for. I'm trying to figure it out, bro. He want the link to that list.
Oh, I sent it to him. I
Okay.
said it's in the comments. It's in the comments. Y'all got it.
It's a lot of drinks. I'm a little technologically challenged right now.
It's all good, man. My Control C and Control V still work. So
Good to know your V still works.
the V still
Sounds
works.
I don't, the C and the V still works.
It does. Assuming
you still got to see it.
Assuming that's it.
Whatever your C's and V's identify.
whatever your season. Yeah,
we
I
out.
still like my V's born with V's. Okay, all right. Here we go. High value replaced with high maintenance. High value has been replaced with high maintenance. So let's dig into the video. LB, what's your first thoughts, man? Seeing that, I know we talked a little bit about it last
listen,
week.
we can keep this open between, we can keep this an open discussion, because it's like the question is, was he wrong though? Because I do feel like, right, in today's society, a lot more women are accepted as whatever they think they are is that high value, or is now the standard of high value. And then, for men is you have to meet a certain criteria, like that criteria is already, that standard is already set in stone. Like, you got to be over 6 feet, you got to make, 6 figures, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is like the cultural, right, standard. Whereas you have women now in today's culture that are different. Like, the spectrum is so different, but they're still saying that they're high value. So you have the many different facets of different, standards that they hold, and they're all up here though. They're all high value. And so I would have to agree with this guy here, where, we would be looked at as crazy if I just determined, that I make 40,000 and this, that, and the third, and I don't have any high ambitions, but I'm high value. People would look at me like I'm crazy. Like, if I just determined what it was, versus in today's culture, women are claiming that they're high value with the standard that they have now thought up of, and it's like, and they have more of a, if they have that backing, right? If they have that following, that confirms it or something. Like they, there we go.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement with you, bro. Yeah, I had to switch it back up so nobody got confused. But no, I'm in agreement with you, LB, because the thing is that what I found the most interesting about that was her response to, I don't think a high value woman, blah, blah, blah. What is a high value woman? Her response was, a woman decides her own value. Well, if you have your own value, then your value is nothing If you just determine your value by yourself, then your value is nothing. It's irrelevant. Right? Like, why would you? And because nobody's gonna say that I'm worthless. Of very few people, I should say. There may be those few, but very few people are gonna say my value is worthless. Precisely 0 women are gonna say that. Right? I don't know a woman alive that's gonna rate themselves. You ask them to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. I don't know a woman alive gonna rate themselves under an 8. Under a 7. I say 7. No, under a 7. I don't know a woman alive gonna do that. Right? But the difference is between them and us is they can say that, and we have to just kind of go along with it. But if, let's say, guy that makes $20, $25, $30,000 a year says, yeah, I'm high value, they're immediately going to be questioned and told that they're crazy. I think probably by the same women who believe that their value is
So that's
8 or above.
And listen, I'll accept the crazy, but I will also tell you at
But
20,
I told her that we got
year, hey Daryl, at $23,000.
Listen, man, you got to chill.
I'll tell you, at $23,000 a year, I was high value, and couldn't nobody tell me differently, because my $23,000 a year, I was in grad school. I had my grad internship, which paid me next to nothing, but kept me in proximity to the degree I was trying to pursue. I worked overnight as a campus escort, just seeing students safely from one building to the next. Like,
that sounds terrible, by the way.
It was
escort. That sounds awful.
I'm saying, the job was terrible, but it was great at the same time, because literally, it was students, it was professors, the number of professors who called to get escorted from their work building to their car. You learned how unsafe people felt at night, just trying to get from one place to another. So I grew appreciation for being in that position. But I was making next to nothing. So I had to work 3 jobs while attending grad school in order to, meet the goals that I was trying to meet. So at $23,000 a year, you could not tell me I wasn't high value, because I was pursuing something that made me high value. So I don't put a dollar amount on what makes a person high value, male or female. It's the characteristics that go into that person. Do you have good judgment of character? Are you
discernment?
aware?
Yeah. Are you a person of good character?
You know what I'm saying? Are you aware of yourself? When you are faced with the opportunity to do right or do wrong and get away with it either way, do you make the right decision, or do you do some fucked up shit because you're gonna get away with it? There's so much that goes into it. So I do understand the notion to believe that you decide what high value is, but at the end of the day, high value is associated with good things. So if you say I'm high value and you sleep from noon to midnight and then get up and go party in the club and then come home and do nothing else with yourself, that's not high value just because you say it is.
But what if somehow you're able to make $100,000 a year in your sleep?
Still not high value. I mean, again, it depends on what it's related to, but chances are the person who sleeps 12 hours a day and then gets up and parties all day ain't doing anything of high value. And your typical Instagram model and whatever ain't ringing the bell for me. You know what I'm saying? Are you giving back to your community? Are you, what I'm saying, working to better yourself? Are you in therapy to fix your issues? Shout out to God in therapy. Take your shots. I'm just
saying, we didn't even introduce that yet.
Yeah, no, not at all. So we just
out.
Again, that's our phrase. So when you hear it, you take the shot. But I'm
go ahead and take the shot.
There are things that we should be. Oh, this is empty. Okay, there are things that we should be connected to that make us high value, and just saying that you are is not it. That's a good.
Okay.
That's a good jumping. You got to believe it before you achieve it.
Sure.
But like, if there's no action behind it, that ain't it.
So what determines value?
People.
You said what?
What determines
people.
value?
People. But it like value is palpable.
You said what?
I like that. Okay. All right. Explain.
That again, like, I can say I know how to cook, and then you come over for dinner and I fix you oodles and noodles. I may have fixed the oodles and noodles as the directions on the package said. I ain't no cook though, like, because it's just pour the pack out in some water, mix it with the noodles after you cook them. That don't like I cooked it, but I'm not a cook. Like, you know, and again, shout out to the people who take a pack of oodles and noodles, you know what I'm saying, throw some egg in and turn that into a ramen bowl. Like, now
we're not about to sit up here and act like that's not a meal. We not, because that got me through.
Yeah, now
that's the whole reason I made it through my 20s.
Now you're getting somewhere, and I have taken some hood meals and led them to great destiny. Like, we can get there, but again, that's you realizing something and making it something greater than what it is. And I think that's where value finds itself. Like, you know, we talk about this all the time. It's one of the memes that I say, like, you know, you give a woman a house and she makes it a home. You know, you do this and it becomes this. Like, there's something connected to that. So like, something can have value, but it takes a person to unlock that. So like, you know, a woman can have value, but is she tapping into her potential? And then even though she has the potential, is she realizing it? Because people fall in love with potential all the time, never realize it. Now we're just playing games.
Yeah.
But you know, that is subjective as well, though, because what we might find valuable here in America is something totally different to somebody in another country. So I think it's selective across the board, or is it cultural, right? What do the majority believe is high value? It's high value. I don't believe he said it to discredit her, but he was asking it more in the sense of, hey, look, because you think this way, though, why is it that majority of men have to stick to this standard that's already a stigma, that's already that men can't have the same, they can't think the same way that you know, women think. It was like, it was not to discredit her, but it was like, hey, wait a minute, if y'all can think that way, why can't we think the same? Why is it that we got to be held to this, you know, I'm not 6 feet, I'm not making six figures type of deal? You know, why is it that? And I think he was just trying to get her to think, like, listen, whoa, let's back it on up. Is this really fair? You know, you've been talking about this equal rights and equality, right? Being on the same level. So it wasn't to discredit, but to get the thought process going. Like, well, then if I do make $45,000 a year, but my wife makes, you know, six figures, and I'm holding down this side of things while she's doing her thing over here, and I feel like I think I'm high value because I can hold down the fort, because I can do these other things on this side of the spectrum. That's not the norm. That's not what society is saying is the standard, you know? That's why I think the point that he was trying to get to is, it seems like society has placed a standard on men, but in today's society, today's culture,
I was just about to say,
some women can be delusional,
preaching better than we saying it.
Yeah, and you know, there it is, and it's accepted though.
Yeah,
that comment right there is accepted.
That's the part.
The delusion is accepted.
Yeah. You know, the whole thing with the overall delusion is that, you know, it's a delusion to want to take over the world that men built and therefore render men irrelevant after we've already built the world. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a crazy overall thought. Your value is determined in many different ways. I would say, again, for me personally, Bible first as a principle. So, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, right? So, is the man generationally thinking, whether he makes, 17,000 a year or 170,000 a year? Is he thinking generationally? Is that 17,000 that he makes right now all that he's ever gonna make because he won't push himself, or is that just what he makes right now because that's the hand he was dealt? You know what I'm saying? A man, to your point, Kev, a man that doesn't make as much money can still have high value.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily limited. It shouldn't be anyway, limited to a dollar amount. But if you ask some people, they would tell you, well, if you're not making 100,000 or 150,000 or whatever it is, true, you about to make 150,000 a year or whatever it is, then you're not. That's the only way you'd be high value if you're making that. And I would argue that some people are so poor that all they have is their money.
I'm
gonna say it one more time.
You
I'm gonna say
preach.
it one more time.
Go ahead,
because they're not ready.
They missed it.
They missed it. It went over your head. Went over your head. I'm gonna say it one more time. Some people are so poor that all they have is their money. Okay.
And just because like you said, people equate control and power and status to money.
Money, power, respect.
And so the Akon thing. I don't know if y'all saw that, but Akon was like, I'm with Nick Cannon. Like, it's about money. Like, showing up to recitals is a white people thing. And I was like, yo, what? Like, what? Because your kids don't care how much money you have. All your kids know and hold on to and remember is, were you there when I wanted you to be there? Did you play with me when I asked to play? Did you show up to my recitals and concerts and games and like contests? Like, that's what the kids care about. So like, we as adults think about money, but the kids just care about your time. So like, Akon missed the point, and the value is in your time. So like, it's always going to be wild to me. Like, yeah.
Your time is the one thing, and I've said this before to people that I've spoke to, that it's particularly people that have poor relationships with their fathers, right? If the ones that are able to still work that out, right? What I tell them is, from perspective, the only thing that you're gonna want when your parent or whatever is gone, the only thing you're gonna want is more time, right? You're not gonna want you're not going to want more money. You're not going to want, sure, it'd be great if you had money. It'd be great if you had an inheritance. It'd be great if they left you a house and all that kind of thing. But the thing that you cannot get, no matter what they do, is more time. You cannot get that time back with somebody that's, that created you, that literally is the reason that you exist, literally is the reason that you exist. And that's your mom and your dad. So, it's important to understand that and really take a grasp and a hold of that, that you take the time. God in therapy, like you said, I'm gonna say it this way: God in therapy, like you were saying, man, take that time really, and because all you're gonna want is more time.
You said it. Oh wait,
Green Man, he's here.
Green Man.
Green Man is in the building. We got to take a shot. We got to take a shot because Green Man is here. Because hold on, let me say this. Let me make sure I say this right. Because the ace is 40, and that's why we're gonna take the shot.
40 in the building.
Birthday, my God.
Happy birthday, brother.
Season like a Merlin crab cake, boy.
Listen, and that's the best kind of crab cake too. So look, I'm glad you're here. You here right on time, man. We got a subject for y'all, for you, for everybody.
What's up, man?
Yeah, we're gonna talk. This is a good question here. The question is, what happened to all the kings? This is the question that a lady asked, and I want y'all to hear this response. So let's get right into it.
Question: where the fuck are our kings at?
Don't worry, fellas, I got this. They're at work right now, saving so they can get their passport together so that they can go ahead and get a wife that's foreign who has traditional values. They're at work right now, saving for retirement for one, because they don't want to take the chance of marrying a woman who can take half of their shit. You've canceled them. You've silenced them because either you were spouting a feminist narrative that doesn't allow men to be men, or you were silent while your sisters did and you didn't check that shit. They're effeminate because they were raised by single mothers and denied contact with their fathers. They're effeminate because you socialize them in school to act like women instead of to be men. They're effeminate because you taught them everything about their masculinity was toxic. You've turned them into women or disenfranchised them.
Well, there's a lot to unpack with that one.
That was deep.
Well, there's a whole lot to unpack with that one. Green.
Yes, sir.
Green man. The elder statesman in the building. What is your thought on what you just heard? Where the real man at? Was he on point or was he full of shit? I'm sorry.
Okay, I literally choked, but
that was a lot of home cooked meal in that one, Trey.
I'm sorry, yo. I can't help myself.
But I must say, me personally, it seems like to women, a man is what you want to make a man to be. It depends on how the woman was raised. And you would think it doesn't make a difference, but I feel like it does to a certain extent. If the father was around, if he wasn't, it seems like women that have that issue, that really have that issue, I want to say 8.5 times out of 10, their dad probably wasn't around. That's how I feel.
You just said something too, though. He just said something. He said,
but it's what you make.
He said the woman, he said woman and make. The woman, so we all know that, the women, conceive the child. They give birth. But also at the same time, we've also heard that, we heard the terms of women trying to change a man and try to shape, mold, whatever the case may be. And he said something there where it's like, he said, women try to make, the man, or make the man to be the man that she wants him to be.
You can't do that. You can't do
so
that.
He said something there. He said something in there. Kev,
Oh no, I was literally just saying there's no all. So when when you're saying like women, it's some women try to change men, some.
That is true.
There's no there's no all. That's the only.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Yeah.
But that, as far as going, him saying they overseas, to me personally, nothing is better to me than a black woman.
On game.
That's just,
I gotta agree.
I like them, dog. You can bring them to like Noah's Ark. I'm not gonna say the rest of his line, but you get the point. We live. We're my nice little hookah lounge setup. We live, man. It's the
We fucked around and invited drunk Daryl to the meeting. And here
No,
we
I'm
are.
not drunk. I'm not drunk.
Oh, you're not drunk yet? You're not drunk yet?
Yet. No, I can't.
Yeah. I know you should be out here taking shots with us.
No, I'm celebrating 40, but this is we live. I'm not
Celebrating
Okay.
40, baby.
Fair enough.
4, baby. Hey, so but hey, look, but
That-
so let's jump into what he said about getting women from overseas though, because they haven't gone away from traditional values, man.
That's a big one. That's what she said. Sorry.
Wow, Trey, who's the drunk one? Okay.
I'm sorry. You're right. Drunk Trey. I'm sorry.
And so, you know, some men, right? Because you can't say all, some men do prefer more traditional values, do prefer and then it's like, okay, so what does that look like? Nah, it's not necessarily just the whole barefoot pregnant in the kitchen type deal. But I do think it is how they traditional values, as in, you know, the standards of it, the levels of it, how we treat one another, you know, who's head of the household, you know, who's, you know, the respect of it all, you know, being in alignment, you know. So I think that has to do with it. That's what at least that's what I got from what he was saying, was that, you know, those traditional values, as in, you know, that alignment, being in alignment type of deal.
So yoked is the word that's like sticking with me, and again, equally yoked. And I look at the biblical reference, and the reason that we're supposed to be equally yoked is because if you put two, you know, oxen on the field, and one of them is larger than the other, the yoke that ties them together will not allow them to pull at the same rate, because they're not equally sized. And so the whole idea of being equally yoked is that we have like a symbiotic relationship to move forward together. And like that's the part that people are missing. So everybody's tied up on what we should have left in 2022, and is, you know, our relationships 50-50, or should a man pay all the bills, or whatever the case may be, when the answer is whatever works for you works for you. You know, and that's like, that makes every household different than the next one, because, and I'll say this a million times, I am a school teacher. We are the most underpaid, underfunded profession that exists. So I'm not going to be a millionaire off of being a school teacher. However, I'm going to make sure that every child I come across is rich with the values that I instill in them. And so, you know, if we're on the same page, if me and my partner are on the same page, then we understand that there are like things that we both bring to the table. God damn, I hate this proverbial table that we talk about, but there are things that we bring to the table that make our relationship rich, regardless of the financial situation. Like finance should be the furthest part from where we're like having these conversations. It's, you know, as we rear our children, as we, you know, grow together, what matters the most to us in our house? Is there peace in our house? Do we have a good time with each other? Are we instilling values in a child that allows them to be good, decent human beings as they grow, who are respectful and use manners and think of others before themselves? Like, there's so much more that goes into this thing that we're talking about. And people just miss that. Like, we get lost in this financial.
You know what, Kev?
Yeah.
It's when you say values, that really stuck out. Rich, I blame social media.
I mean,
I don't though.
I mean,
I do, to an extent.
Values were screwed up long before social media.
Yeah.
And if social media can change your values, there's something wrong with you.
Well,
you're right.
Yeah.
But that's my
And argue you had no values to begin with.
That's my whole thing. When social media, right? It seems like everything is pushing money. Money could solve all your problems.
So I'm a
money this,
and
money
to,
that.
to
Money
his
is the root
point,
of all
though,
evil.
to
But
his
the love
point,
of money.
to his
anyway.
point, to Daryl, what Daryl just brought up, because I was getting ready to say, you said finances should be the furthest away from it, but what makes a woman feel secure,
right?
And it's providing, and well, again, some, right? Some, okay, some, and I agree that finances should be the furthest thing away. I just think that in the way that we're set up here, right? You got to, if you want to live somewhere, you got to pay rent or mortgage. You know, if you want to have a car, if you haven't paid it outright, if you want to, you know, if you do have a car and you paid it outright,
right,
you still got to pay, at least in certain states, you got to pay insurance. You got to, you know, there's certain things that it just takes money in this society to live, you know, and it takes a certain amount. So again, it's like, yes, we want to throw finances, you know, over here. It's not, it shouldn't be the number one thing. It should be number one thing.
Money shouldn't be your God.
But I think in some of females' minds, that also equates to that whole being able to provide the feeling.
It's because they want security in the end. Like women want to feel secure. And as they should.
That's the fight that, like, I get what you're saying, and I agree. I'm just saying, but that's like the fight, like right there is like this was one of the one of the forefronts of my mind, you know, growing up as a young male and looking for my wife. I said, okay, I gotta be this breadwinner. I gotta provide, and in order for me to provide, not only do I have to be strong, I have to be, you know, a decision maker. Not only, like, all these other things. I was like, I gotta bring in his money.
Let me ask you this, LB. So now that you're grown and you know, does provide necessarily mean financial, or does it?
So me right now, making her feel secure does not mean financial, does not mean money. Okay. Because
talk about it,
she can go out and make her own money.
Nick Cannon.
Guess what? That's why you married.
So no, right now, no, that's not, you know,
that's why you married.
That's not it.
I love my sis. She's a good one.
But it's still, you know, from my growing up, it's still that's still my hustle, my you know, even if I was a stay-at-home dad, I'm still out here trying to hustle, because that's just the way it was ingrained in my mind growing up.
It's like literally, even if you're not, like, you know, making whatever 100,000 a year, you're doing what you need to do to make provisions to make sure that the family operates well,
which is fair. I literally, and I'm gonna keep saying Nick Cannon because I want that to be a point. Nick Cannon is making millions of dollars, and the only complaint we're hearing outside of he's having too many fucking children is that he's not spending enough time with them. Like that parents, particularly Mariah, who was the first one. So like we can't even be mad at her, because it's not like she knew he had babies and went and had more. She was number one, had his babies, then he went in a different direction and impregnated Noah's Ark. So like what I'm saying is, like, all the money in the world does not discount your presence and your example and all of, because we're seeing over and over and over people say, I wish such and such spent more time with their children. And that's not just a man thing. Like, for the men who are taking care of their kids, they're wishing that the mother spent more time with the kids, made time for the kids, wasn't, you know what I'm saying, sexed out, coked out, drugged out, whatever. Like, you just want them to be a presence in the child's life. So like again, all the money in the world is cool because it's going to eliminate, you know what I'm saying, do we have to pay the rent? Do we got to make sure the lights are on? Is there enough food to eat? Whatever. That's cool. However, for the child who does not understand how life works and that you got to have money to whatever, all they want to know is, when I want to play, are you here to play with me? When I want a book read, are you reading the book to me? When I have a dance recital, did you show up for it? Like it's those things that matter most to the child. So like money is cool, but your presence as a parent is going to trump everything in the eyes of the child.
I 100% agree, 1000% agree with that. And so that brings me to where I see an issue with not all, but where I see an issue with a lot of moms that then isolate the father. Right. I see that more and more. You see a lot of moms that isolate the father because, dad doesn't want to be with them. And I get it. Dad doesn't want to be with them. And so, the best way, easiest way, worst way really to hurt the father is to, hurt them through the child. And I see that. I'm seeing that, and actually a growth in that more and more, like with women actually bragging about how they kept their son, daughter, or whatever away from the father, right? And just for the sake of time, I'm gonna jump to this next thing real quick. And just the importance of moms and their impact on dads. So let me put it this way. So the last video we just watched, we were talking about where are the good men at, right? And all the things that has happened. What I want to call attention to is the last little part, right? The last part about why they're emotionally unintelligent, why they're effeminate, why they're they feel this way and that way. And we talked a little bit last week about how why men don't open up, why we don't open up specifically to women, right? To the women in our lives. So I want to call attention to that part. And one question I ask before I play the video, and I'll ask y'all this. A question I ask, a lot of women give me the, there ain't no good men out here, we're not stepping up to the plate, we're not doing what we need to do. And don't get me wrong, fellas, we got work to do, okay? But I hear a lot about that. And the question I tend to ask is, all these men, all these young men, from the 60s to now, right? 20% were in single parent households to now where it's more like 75%, right? Born in single parent households. In the last 2 generations or so, there's been women doing it by themselves, telling, in some cases, which we're finding out now, a lot of stories about what their father was and their father not showing up and so on and so forth. And you said what?
Kel Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's wild.
Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of that, and some of it's legit, and some of it's not so much, right? So, as we often talk about, fellas, we of course got to do better, right? But at the same time, we've been told for the last 2-3 generations that we ain't shit. We've been conditioned. We ain't shit. All we do is cheat. We walk out, and all we do is make babies and dip off, right? We don't do right by the mom, and that's usually what it is. We don't do right by the mom. Whether we do right by the kid is a whole other conversation, but we usually don't do right by the mom, right? So, but when you've conditioned that, the boys are not, these boys are growing up into men who don't have traditional values. And my question is, who's raising these men? If 70% of us are born in single parent households, most single parent households are run by women. So who's raising these men? Mm-hmm. And here's another question. If dad's going to get the bag and mom's going to get the bag, who's raising the kids?
Society.
Whatever they put in front of them.
Right.
The TV.
Tablets.
But I will say that's a very loaded question.
That is.
you know, I watch a mother who literally adjusts her schedule to, you know, accommodate child's needs, which, you know, is the responsibility of the parent. Um, and so you're trying to constantly find the best of everything for your child, and you're doing that. It's just, you know, what options do you have? The father who wants to be there but again has to go to work, because if he doesn't work then he can't pay, you know, child support or arrears or whatever the case may be, and that limits, you know, the time that he has to be with the child. So like, if the mother's going to get a bag and the father's going to get a bag, chances are both of them are going to get a bag, because that's the only way that they can afford to put this roof over the head and, you know what I'm saying, that car in the driveway and whatever the case may be. Which I'll always challenge people like to be conscious of, like their spending and their priorities and all of those things, because like again, the kid more often than not doesn't care about the things that you give. They care more about the time that you spent, and those are the things that will stick with them forever. So like, this is always going to be a loaded
It's all loaded because you have the parents. I'm just speak for my example, where the way that they grew up, they wanted better for their kids.
Always.
And so what that equated was, now we both got to get out here and get this bag so that we can give them a better opportunity. So the opportunity didn't necessarily mean the opportunity of more time with them, because that's not that's not the upbringing they had. The upbringing they had was, we got to get out of here. Now that they're out, they want to stay out. And so we got to do whatever we got to do to stay out and to keep our kids out. And so you're right. It's super loaded because the time spent wasn't high on the radar. It, at the time, may not have been as important as staying out of what they grew up in. And so that was more important to them and what they thought, you know, they just did the best that they could.
And then you have this other situation where the parent is living through the child.
Also.
Yeah, that's fact. Yeah.
Oh, and that can get, well, y'all know me, I have no children, but I've seen that can be very dangerous. Needs and wants. It's two different things. You're gonna buy a 6-year-old $400 tennis shoes, needs and wants, or you know, it happens. It happens, and a lot of women, not all.
These are facts.
But a lot of women I've seen driving by, I see a parent and a child on a bus stop, right? What you doing with a Gucci belt?
The child.
The child. The child.
Who also ain't got no school uniform.
He doesn't have a school uniform.
Right.
He got a Gucci belt.
He got a Gucci belt though.
He can't even spell Gucci.
Also,
it's some Jordans.
He think it's a CH. He think it's a CH Gucci.
I'm just saying that Trey, that topic you brought up, that can, we can talk about that till we do on.
Look, for the sake of time, let me show you this, right? Because I think this also kind of speaks to the point that, you know, if it's all about what you put in your child, right? You know, and if you're not the one programming your child, then what's and who is programming your child, right? These are things that just need to be considered when we think about everything, when we think about marriage, when we think about co-parenting, when we think about, you know, baby mama-ing or whatever or whatever, right? When we think about those things, these are things we need to like legitimately consider. So let me show y'all this real quick. Let's jump into it.
This is why in our culture as black people, when the boys turn a certain age, the men come and get him and take him away from the mother because she can emotionally manipulate him. But since we don't live in our culture no more, we say what we want to say, do what we want to say. We tear our men down and then wonder why they don't make good husbands and fathers. Mothers destroy sons. His mother can speak to him in certain ways that destroy him in ways that can never be repaired.
Yeah. So two sides of that. I want to add to that also that in the same way that a mother can tear down a son is in the same way that she can build up her son, right? And the thing about it is, kids do what they see, not what you say. Not necessarily what you say. They do what they see, not necessarily what you say, right? As one who was once a kid and is now an adult, I can tell you that I followed suit as a youngin' more with what I saw, right? So again, that goes back to that question: who's raising your kid? If it's not you, if you're not putting your values into that child, then then who is? And then let's talk about the mom aspect of it, right? I believe that and I don't think it's intentional, but I think that there are people, more specifically moms, who tend to allow their emotions to come out in conversation to their child, not realizing how much those things affect their kid. And dads do it too. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? I'm dads do it too. But more specifically, I hear that with moms, right? Single parent households, 70% of people incarcerated came from single parent households. 70% of all the people in jail in America came out of single parent households, right?
Wow.
There's a reason for that. That's not to say that it can't work, but would you gamble on something that had a 70% chance of failure?
Cricket.
You understand what I'm saying? Would you bet on something that has a 70% chance of failure?
I'm torn because I'm the 70%.
Well, 30%, but yeah, I feel you.
I'm the one who
he thinks
was given the 70% chance of failure. So like while it's not the sexiest odds, I know that something better can come out of that, what I'm saying, that thing. So like, and again, that has a lot to do with the exposure that you get when you're in whatever the situation looks like. So for all of the dysfunction that existed between my mother and my father, I was sheltered from a lot of it until I had to like meet dysfunction face to face. But then at that point I could see it for what it was and who was the author of the dysfunction. So like, yeah, like I said, it's not the sexiest odds, so I would go against it. However, I am the product of the odds. So like,
Sure.
I know in it exists something good.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, look, if 70% of the people are come out of single parent households, that means that 30% come out of two parent households. So, you know what I mean? So, it is what it is. But again, it's a statistical disadvantage. And what I'm saying is, what I suggest is that probably people need to reverse course on a lot of this stuff, on a lot of this, this way of thinking. There was a tweet. Kev, you shared it earlier, I wasn't able to get it, as a slide or nothing like that. But let's see if I can find it. What it said? It was the one I said I'm gonna try to work in. What was that? You remember that one? No.
Kev tweets so much he can't remember.
He stays on the Twitter machine. I don't be on the Twitter machine.
You talking about which tweet? You talking about the one that the woman was speaking bad about the baby father one, and then it came out that he was actually trying to see his kids and all of that. Was that the one you talking about? Which one you talking about?
Nah, the one that says, I found it. Okay, it says, and I quote, I have a question. What's wrong with giving poussoir to a ninja? See what I'm doing in 2023?
That one.
What's wrong with giving poussoir to a ninja who not doing anything for you? Why is that so frowned upon?
A lot of people go to the gym in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
My bad, Drake. My bad, OB. You trying to make change. My bad. All right.
Snap a fact. Snap a fact.
Make that change.
Hey, Trey got called before we go off. Get him.
Hey, man. I'm trying, man.
Baby steps,
man.
man.
Look, y'all just keep supporting me, okay? All right?
You muted, Kev. You're still muted.
You muted, bro. You ain't got no sound.
I didn't even
there
push
you go.
There you go, doctor. All right, then.
I literally didn't push that button, so I don't know how.
We back.
But the wildest part is the vast majority of people who dragged her after that question was women, and their question was, why would you give it up to some dude who does nothing for you? Because at the end of the day, if you need something done for you, you know that you can't rely on him. So yes, you can absolutely.
This is the thing, man. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but they knew he was what he was before.
I will agree and disagree, and more disagree than agree, because because we're having a man-woman conversation. Niggas lie, like, so we will say whatever we're supposed to say to get to the goal. You understand what I'm saying? So like, if a woman takes what you say at face value, then you are what you said you were until you got what you wanted. So to become a completely different person after the fact, that is like, it's a blind side to a woman, because you talked a good game to get to what you were looking for and then became somebody else.
But
so I would argue men deal with that more than women do.
Did both our heads turn? Okay.
I would argue. Okay, let me clarify.
Okay,
I would argue that we deal with.
Hey, whoa.
Speak your piece, Trey, on this
that
one.
sounds like that could go into a whole.
It's a.
All right. Okay. We'll save it. We'll table it.
We'll table
that. All right. Fair.
We'll table it next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact. Yeah.
That's not a reason to tune in next week, because he just lit a fire.
Yeah.
I would argue we deal with fake and phony more.
That.
Iron brimstone.
And insert person in the forces background. Nobody care about your uh-uhs. Nobody care about your uh-uhs. Anybody worry about your uh-uhs. Okay. All right. Everybody got a right to be wrong, and you wrong. No, I'm playing.
Trey, that.
Might worry about your background commentary.
All right.
That's all right. Yeah, save it for next week. Bring it next week. All right. All right,
Hey.
man. We got to get ready to get out of here, man. All right, cool, man. Rapid fire, man. All right, here we go. Let's take this shot. Here we go.
Oh, bet. I still got something in the glass.
Yeah,
Okay.
it exists.
Last week, we covered the Waffle House brawl, which apparently happened in Texas, apparently a year ago.
Oh,
Waffle House Wendy, the woman who caught the chair, deflected it like a superhero.
Yeah.
She's been dubbed Waffle House Wendy. Okay, Waffle
That's
House
cool.
Wendy.
She's Thor.
I love it. You said what?
She's Thor.
So yeah,
She
basically.
just called it back to
Or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or Spider Woman.
Listen, if you want to see the cartoons, they're dope. Google Waffle House Wendy. Okay, I'm just saying. All right, they're dope.
Part of Houston was you said it was in Texas. Was it in Houston?
Yeah, apparently it was in Texas. I don't remember what part of Texas, but it was in Texas apparently. So anyway, but the point is that Waffle House Wendy, apparently, after said incident, was written up by Waffle House and then eventually fired once it went viral. What's your thoughts?
She's about to be famous.
She gonna find another job somewhere as security.
She's pretty much famous at this point.
She be out.
She gonna get a job as a night security.
No, she's probably going to be in a commercial probably in 2 months.
Right next to Floyd Money Mayweather.
She's already been interviewed by a couple of stations and put her story out there. Like, again, we're telling y'all her name is Waffle House Wendy. Okay, go check her out. Check her out.
House Wendy.
She got hands. She got hands.
She caught all of that. Bow, done. That being said, let me ask y'all, in a fight.
You about to say something?
Triple
real
threat.
Say something
No, for real, yo.
I'm about to say something real stupid.
I know. It has to be on four.
You want to know?
It has to be my Neos. It has to be my Neos. Trey, you go
Scared to
first.
ask now, yo.
I'm not
Triple threat match, yo. Triple threat match for fast food, cheap food supremacy.
Out things. If we shoot for cancer, I was just going to say she just needs to stay away from the WNBA because she ain't gonna make no money.
Oh, Rich.
Oh.
Let me take this cup.
She won't though. But she won't though.
Move us.
It's funny
forward.
because it's true.
Move us forward.
That took me out of.
She should shoot for Marvel movie. DC.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
I was gonna be crazy when I got on here.
Oh, MMA. Hey,
y'all thought I was gonna be the stupid. Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Hey man, we off this rapid fire. We off. All right, we done. I ain't saying no more. I'm off.
Sure? Are you positive?
Man, I don't.
It was on your heart.
But I don't think she. I feel like she got fired and she shouldn't have got fired. I don't think that was right. They shouldn't have fired her. I don't think they should have fired her nor wrote her up, man. That's messed up.
Probably not.
Sometimes, let's be real for a second. Sometimes customers get out of hand.
They do.
Sometimes y'all get out of hand. Sometimes.
Right. But what they say, Trey.
All right.
The customer is.
The customer is like a broken clock. The customer is like a broken clock, which basically means that they are wrong 1,438 times a day and correct twice. All right, I'm done. Okay. Next thing. El Chapo's son got captured, and apparently that has caused a lot of unrest in Mexico. LB, you brought this to my attention. I wasn't even hip, man. Talk about it, bro.
Man, apparently, and I'm just going to put the disclaimer out there that I'm just passing on information that it is crazy in Mexico right now. I have no real opinion about what's going on. I'm going to stay neutral here. Because I don't know what the reach is like. I mean, I do. I have an idea, but I'll stay neutral here and just say that it's crazy right now. That I am praying for the people that's caught up in the situation. If you haven't seen it yet, I mean, the cartel has been basically what they're doing is attacking the infrastructure. And I mean, if this was Grand Theft Auto, it seems like something out of Grand Theft Auto, like a video game, because it's crazy right now. We're gonna say some prayers for them, for those people that's going through it right now.
Yeah,
they were shutting down some airports, major highways. Like it was crazy. I was, and I just got hip to it today. This ahead of the president visiting Mexico, and he's supposed to be visiting the border as well. And I haven't heard any updates on that, if those plans have changed, but that whole situation is crazy right now. And I'm gonna just throw up some prayers for those people involved who, are just either trying to get home or just the innocent bystanders. Because that situation is crazy. I mean, they took trucks, 18-wheelers, setting them on fire. Like they literally, like it's literally almost like a war zone in there. And it just makes you, wonder who really has control. I mean, it's so much I speculate. I'm not even gonna say too much more about it. I'm just saying, sending prayers up to those affected by it, man, because that's crazy. Super crazy.
Incredible, man. Incredible. I like the description of the Grand Theft Auto was wild. I pulled up one video on YouTube I was able to find, and it was bad as it looks like an aftermath of Grand Theft Auto. That's the worst part.
It's crazy.
Well, that's disturbing.
Yeah. It is. It actually is pretty disturbing, man. It actually is. So yeah, definitely prayers up for them. There's a lot going on, man. Like I said, 2023 is off to its best BS. Kev, what's your thought on this thing with El Chapo?
I ain't trying to be chopped up. You know what I think about Chapo? I ain't trying to be chopped up.
Hey,
we don't want no trouble.
We've been famous a couple times with some of them other people coming in the chats, but we ain't trying to be that kind of famous.
This ain't the intention I'm looking for.
Oh,
man. Yeah.
I seen Bad Boys 2. I know what this turns into.
Facts.
Oh man.
Art imitates life. Life imitates art.
I think we should leave it right there and let it hang like a cloak. Right there.
Let it hang.
Well. Okay.
Let me take a second to get my shit together. Okay. The drinks are kicking in. All right. Speaking of which,
damn it,
my goodness. Last one for the road. In the state of Louisiana, effective January 1, so 6 days ago, in the state of Louisiana, in order to access websites like Pornhub, you need to enter your government-issued ID number, or else you can't access Pornhub.
Where's this now?
Louisiana.
They've never used Twitter before.
They dipped the fuck.
They've never used Twitter before, because I just want to say Twitter is better than anything that Pornhub has to offer.
Twitter's basically Pornhub. It's free OnlyFans.
Yeah, I was gonna say anything that XTube has to offer, Pornhub is gonna be there for you.
That should be a good conversation. You know what? 2023, let's get in the meat and potatoes of things.
Twitter, listen.
Good topic.
Definitely Black Twitter. It ain't let us down. Stop playing. You're gonna find what you're looking for. So good luck to Louisiana and law abiding whatever exists.
they may have a release of people out of there almost like Katrina.
But it's definitely a release. You know what? Let me look. We out here, yo. We out. We out. We got to get going, man. This is ridiculous. Yeah, we appreciate y'all riding with us, man. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining us again. Let's get some last comments real quick. Kev, talk to us, bro.
Hey, whatever you do, hit the like, subscribe button. Catch us every Friday night. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope that this year is prosperous for you all. I hope you find yourself, whatever that means for you in the new year. Find yourself, press your way towards your goals. Like it's going to be a beautiful one, and nothing beautiful ever came without struggle. So embrace that part of it, but know that there's something beautiful happening on the other side. Y'all take care of yourself.
Yes, sir. 2023, baby. Take your shot. Do it now. Do it right now. Take a shot because there's no more waiting, man. We ain't getting any younger. Time is the most precious commodity right now. Listen, if we knew, so you know I'm business minded, right? Because I was thinking about time. If we knew how to like time machine or something like that, man, we'd be rich. Mofos. Again, I got issues, but take a shot in 2023. Do it. Keep going. No matter what. Get back up. You fall. Get back up. Let's keep going.
I don't really have a last minute thing. I just want to thank everyone for birthday wishes. Thank you, Kev and Force.
40.
Right. Thank you, best friend. Rich, King Rich. Thank y'all, man. I'm getting old, and that's fine. Y'all can teach me all day.
You getting better.
A lot of black men don't see 40.
That's real.
And that's a problem.
So I'm highly favored. Thank you for everyone who came out to our festivities. To the brothers who couldn't make it, I love y'all. But I'm gonna try to make it my personal business that I host this podcast once a month.
You open up his spot.
I'm opening up my spot. I'm doing some things.
Love you, bro.
Y'all have me on that at least once a month for me.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, big bro. That's what's up, man.
No, seriously, man.
Hey,
I love y'all, man.
We said it before.
This is a party over here, baby.
We need to definitely, with all the talks that we're doing, we need to have some females on the panel to come out and join as well to get in the conversation and hey, get into it. You know, with all the conversation.
Tell us where we wrong.
We gonna make this happen.
Get into it.
Yeah.
But get up to it. Down to it.
Giggity.
I like that thing. Like that thing you say. You
like I say about that.
Like
man.
that thing.
That's all we're gonna say. That's all we're gonna say about that, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all again as always. Thank y'all for joining us. We got a lot of stuff going on already. 2023 is off to a bunch of shenanigans. We got all kind of stuff that we didn't even cover. You know, we got the fake celebrity death challenge. What kind of crap was that? What was that about, right? We have politicians. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Quentin Williams, dude, that was hit by a car going in the wrong direction up in Connecticut. Ridiculous, crazy. You know, we got people in kids' locker rooms pretending to be the opposite sex that they're not really, and taking pictures of them. All kind of stuff. We got people on TikTok telling their boys that they're girls. All kind of stuff. Dogs and cats living together. Black is east, up is white. Mass hysteria. And throughout all of that, we still don't know what a woman is. So, with all that being said, check us out next week. We're going to try to get to the bottom of all of that. It's crazy. We just pissed away $1.7 trillion. It's all going crazy out here. So thank y'all again for joining us. Tune in next week, man. We hope you guys seriously look forward to it. You got something to look forward to the next Friday, so hang in there. We're going to take a shot for you. One more for the road, man. One more for the road. What y'all think?
Do it.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
We in it, man.
Let's get it, man. Up to it, down to it. Fuck those what don't do it. We do it because we used to it.
We used to it.
drink. Drink.